For plebs, by plebs, dropping the Bitcoin-only signal. Pleb Underground. Welcome everyone to the Pleb Underground.
Welcome back to Pleb Underground. This is episode 53. They say it's not what, but who you know. I'll take it further. It's about with who you flow. Get a good woman like Ali with Majuli. You be the sage and her the patchouli. Women conversation wine. All great when there's legs to them. Women with no conversation wine. All late with no eggs to them. Some people not serious. Some people punking. I take this serious. Call me the pun king. Still Bitcoin's bold bard. Flow cold like the card. And getting bolder each week. Your meme folder is weak. Ossification is ludicrous today. Proponents like move bips. Get out the way. Training every day with perfect form, lifting heavy, hit the perfect orm. Reassured, not anyone's doubt. At the gym, taking the gym buns out. Conquering this game, Attila the pun's out. Just in, sun's out. I say to get the guns out. Multi-sig, one in each hand. I like people who are real because you know where you stand. Some of my favorite rhymes are masked like scholars' crimes, home invasion, alien-like grimes, salty but coping, at a glass, tequila limes. She doesn't drink much, but I like to keel her. Modest in public, in private the revealer. Works of art should be appropriately framed. Unhealthy behavior should be appropriately shamed. She wants you to take the lead. You're meant to be strategic. You'll get rewarded later. Make her paraplegic. She wants you to take her and make her your baker. Like Bitcoin can't fake her and never forsake her. Find one you can hodl. She might look like a model, but remember, models are wrong, but useful. They need strong leaders and builders. She said, here, come kill this. Then she's delirious. Give her the roar. Not just Eddie with good moves on the floor. She loves every second and even the third, enjoys the fingers writing each and every word. She's wholesome and holy, ain't no second blessed. Take time with roly-poly, ain't no second stressed. Never grimy, but likes a little cane, oh my, on point with perfect aim glow. Need to make some pee, make out with Q. She likes to get sticky. Said, I just want Hugh. Ain't no second best glue. So I get a little sun. Give her the goo. So I get a little sun. Took off the burqa, but this girl needs a muzzle. Sculpting her well as the last piece in the puzzle. Serve her a plate and she wants her teeth in. Oh baby, and soon we'll be teething. Tuesday morning, lines getting stacked. In a hood, but no one's getting whacked. Early in the gym, weights unracked. Solo in the gym. Like Bitcoin, I'm backed. She went back home, bag unpacked. The kingdom welcomed a queen. She moves diagonally, always clean, elegant and gracious. No need to intervene, not mean. A cut above the average. She likes my one mode, savage. You might think that I rap, but I'm a pull-out maxi. Can't get the clap if you don't ride in a taxi. Nothing sexy than implied consent. Fuck, sorry, mum. Explicit content. I called her a spook, said I was her assignment. The witch replied, no, it's just planetary alignment. Love the feel of bass palm in the morning. Love is real, pray, a psalm while she's adorning. The crown and her king, he's an absolute beast. With the queen from the east, royal tumble in the ring. In control, but berserk in the booth. Do the work, she'll love the proof. Time to roll and rock. In the perfect key, she's the perfect lock. Not unlock quick glee. Pair bonding forgotten, but it unlocks potential. It's not only Bitcoin that can curve exponential. Up a few degrees when she sees the peak bod on her knees looking up at her Greek god. Loves the stars, they help with her sight. Loves the pars because she's slight. She loves the bars, they're supreme, not off-white. The fit is real tight. Not from a culture of sneakers where conferences vulture the speakers. When she asks for your digits, give her at least 2. Fully grown, no longer midgets, fully moan, deja vu. I can honestly rhyme with anything, can't I? Back with the rap, no cap, MasterGuantai. Like me, calling for the plebs to be risen. Fully free, behind my bars, not in prison. Give the D to Q, she's super clean, now all creamy, my dairy queen. She's got her backup, but I'm not talking corn. Retain or attain one worthy, got to avoid the porn. Bitcoin is voluntary, a pull not a shove. You all gotta learn, what is money? Breed, love. This one might be wholesome, unlike breed, love. You all gotta hold someone, hearts, greed, love. My ideology is specific and my writing prolific. The big question this week, how to make Drivechains faded. Simple, block his stream and make Paul jaded.
Very, very nice, Walton, very nice. And as always, if you didn't understand who's joining us, we've got fellow Bitcoiner and pleb. We've got MasterGuantai, who's doing an amazing, amazing job out there in Africa, orange pilling. Thank you so much for joining us on Pleb Underground, man. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very honored to be on the show. My name's MasterGuantai, your favorite toxic Bitcoin maximalist from Nairobi, Kenya. I'm the founder of Bitcoin Mtaani, which concentrates on Bitcoin-only educational content in African native languages. And I'm also running the Bitcoin Matatu, which is involved in Bitcoin tourism. So looking forward to engaging in your podcast. Thank you very much.
Absolutely awesome. And we will put a link to all of that in the show notes so everybody could check it out. But right now, we're moving on over to the numbers.
Yeah, the numbers, of course, brought to us by Time Chain Stats. I'm going to share some numbers. In the triple digits rhyming. Apologies. No, fuck you guys. Whoever doesn't like the rhyming, like, go fuck yourself. Fast forward if you want to do it, but I'm back, so deal with it. And another number, 2. There are 2 Bitcoin rhymers in the house today, me and MasterGuantai, so I'm excited. Phil, what are the other numbers like this week?
At the time of this recording, the block height is 805,756. The Bitcoin fiat Bitcoin exchange, 25,680.20. Total public lightning capacity, 4,745.90. Moscow time, 38.93. Fastest fee, fastest fee, 20 sats per VByte. Not the cheapest, but still relatively cheap. We're 237 days away from the halving, and the chain rewrite days is 738. Pretty brutal this week. Pretty brutal. But you know what, Walton? I have a number that I'd like to share with everyone this week.
The number 300 is staying in a different section, sir. The number 300 is staying in a different section.
That's right, guys. We are going to dive into the shit show that is becoming Drivechains. But before we get there, I've got a very special number for the numbers. Guys, yeah, that's right. The special number this week is indeed 80. Why is it 80? Thanks to Crypto Cloaks and his wonderful discussion with the, the grand king mind of Bitcoin, Dan Held. So
but
here
Phil,
we go.
it's also
another
number 1, because this is the first ever original meme by Mr. Dan Held. Congratulations, Dan. You did it. Finally.
That's right. BTC Pin's tweet right here is 80 IQ at Dan Held's first original meme. Indeed it is, and it is pretty good. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at what happened here. Okay, just quickly. And here it is, people, in all its glory. Dan Held responds, "Ah, yes, 80 IQ plebs liking a tweet certainly is a directional indicator of quality." And I gotta say, guys, he's not the first one to insult plebs' overall intelligence. Nick Carter also enjoys very much putting us down and acting like we're stupid. For essentially not falling for all of these people's ridiculous shitcoin shenanigans and not hoisting these people up on our shoulders for no apparent reason.
Phil, the problem is that Dan Held met a girl, and she asked if he had something in his pocket, and he said no. That's a what was the term? Directional indicator of quality, and it just didn't work. And so since then, like he's been corrupt, like dealing with the fact that this line never worked, and trying to insert this terminology, but no one wants him to insert it anywhere, and it's it is what it is.
Is what it is. Oh God, MasterGuantai, did you see any of this drama? I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm going to speak for myself. I'm a Twitter degenerate, so I'm always on there and I see this kind of stuff. But were you aware? Were you aware that we're all stupid?
Actually not. I didn't see that thread, but I've seen several instances of us being pushed or made to be inclined to be open-minded to this shitcoinry. So yeah, for me, I have a lot of tunnel vision, so I avoid a lot of the bullshit, like even on Twitter, so especially.
See, you're actually building out there in Africa, so good for you. Just stay out of the garbage. All of this is noise anyways, for real. It is. It is total noise. But I did think it made for excellent entertainment this week.
Gentlemen, I have one further set of numbers for you this week. Inner Spaces last night. Well, it won't be last night by the time the episode comes out, because it was sorry, it was Thursday evening, the last evening in August. And I was in a Spaces with David Bailey, and I'm trying to think how it went. It went something along the lines of someone else was talking and saying, oh, well, you know, if you give your money to custodians, then what will happen is they'll just lend it to 3AC who will lose it. And I said, yeah, but that's just what David does anyway. And David just therefore, you know, because David lost 100 Bitcoin last year with them. David would, yeah. And then later, I think to try and flex that he's rich or something like this, but actually to me just sounded like he's even more, you know, regarded than. I think he's like an arrogant and not so, he's like chaotic evil version of Brad Mills sort of thing. Like, you know, some OG who's not that smart, but like, you know, likes to swing it around. But anyway, little confession from Mr. Bailey. He gave 3AC 1,000 Bitcoin. He custodied 1,000 Bitcoin with 3AC, and then asked for it back, and I think was able to claw back 900 or something like that before it collapsed, essentially. And so he lost, you know, 100 Bitcoin. You know, many multiples over what, you know, most plebs, myself included, will ever be able to touch. Like it's insane amounts. And he in the Spaces he you know, he said like, you know, he's like, what's going to drive Bitcoin going forwards? And he said, oh yeah, he sponsors devs and things like this. Yeah, but if you're just chucking a load of money to shitcoiners and then they go and get wrecked, that's really bad publicity for Bitcoin, because normies aren't able to differentiate well, and so then you're increasing the kind of barrier to entry psychologically for people to adopt Bitcoin, because they have to get over Bitcoin versus crypto, and all of the noise of crypto blowing up is an extra hurdle that Bitcoiners, you know, have when trying to help normies adopt Bitcoin.
You know what? I think you make a good point about the noise, and it was making me think, MasterGuantai, out in Africa, because see here, I can tell you for North America, right? Like, we're very ethnocentric. We only hear news, and essentially for the most part, unless you go out and actively search for it, you only hear about local happenings. But for you guys, is there big push for shitcoins out in Africa? Like, do you often have to go and debunk a lot of just nonsense?
Yes, 100%. Like, that's the biggest hurdle for an altcoiner in the space, because now, as a Bitcoin educator like myself, other than even before you reach the point about talking about Bitcoin, you must first face these shitcoin projects. I can give examples, like the latest one, like Monero has been here, and like the latest one, which has really got like Kenya specifically as a country to the level that the government is concerned, is the WorldCoin push. Because now they came in very, very aggressive with a lot of money and wanting to take biometrics, basically very, very focused on the youth. Because now, if you can tell young guys who are basically unemployed to just come and get their eyeball and some KYC AML data taken from them for like $50 to $80, that's basically a good day. They don't really care. Some of it stems from ignorance. Some of it stems from the current situation in the country, of which like the economy is really hard times all around. So for me now to even start talking about Bitcoin, I must first debunk why the US dollar essentially is a shitcoin, because the Kenya shilling is pegged to the US dollar, and then now come to the very active disinformation and misinformation pushed by things like WorldCoin pretending to do a basic universal income for guys, and then now do various other problems statements, like even showing guys what's happening in Lebanon, what's happening in Nigeria, what happened with the Canadian truckers, for me to reach a point where I've sufficiently given them enough scope for them to actually realize there is a problem, and then now go out of my way to explain how Bitcoin, as we say, solves this. for them, their family, their friends, and their businesses.
Wow. You know what? It's so funny. As you were explaining that, I completely forgot about WorldCoin already. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. That stupid orb. Okay. So obviously with a massive platform, going back to what Walton said, right? With David Bailey, BTC Magazine has a massive platform. Anybody can access the website, right? Anywhere all over the world. So obviously when you have a platform like that, we shouldn't be helping and proliferating the shitcoins. So David Bailey, you got to do better, man. I'm sorry. You
now he's got this like psychology of he's lost money and that he has to make it back, and so then he tries to do ordinals, and now he seems I see him as trying to push Drivechains, or at least push discussion on Drivechains, because of course you can monetize the engagement or whatever, but I don't know. My understanding is layer 2 labs have some undisclosed funding. It wouldn't surprise me if it was David, to be honest. But anyway, who knows?
You know something? We are definitely gonna get into that in the REKT segment. But
he bragged on his 50 companies invested in, etc., etc. Like,
yeah, and we're also gonna take a look at one of his tweets about Drivechains, right? So because it's going to be a very interesting story for the REKT segment. Anyways, but before we get to the REKT segment, we are going to dive into an awesome fireside chat with MasterGuantai. Here we go. The Fireside Chat is brought to you by CipherSafe. Check them out at cyphersafe.io. Store your seed in something that is virtually indestructible. Check out the Cypher Grid, and it comes with an awesome little punch tool. It's made by a fellow Bitcoiner for Bitcoiners. Check it out at cyphersafe.io. If you appreciate high-quality craftsmanship, check out the Bitcoin Rouleau Triangle. That's right, 16 ounces of pure titanium. It's 4 inches by 4 inches by 4 inches. This is beautiful Bitcoin craftsmanship made by fellow Bitcoiner for Bitcoiners. Check it out, the Bitcoin Rouleau Triangle at cyphersafe.io. Welcome back to the Fireside Chat. This week we have MasterGuantai, who I first encountered. I think he'd watched one of our shows, and also appreciated the rhymes. And then I looked into him, and he was also writing rhymes, and so I thought we've got to have him on the show. And I believe he's trying to essentially offer tourist kind of services for Bitcoiners visiting Kenya. So yeah, I'm intrigued as to what's going on. I don't know. I know a little bits about Bitcoin in a few different places in Africa, but I don't know too much about Bitcoin in Kenya. So I'd like to learn more. So in summary, tell us more about your rhymes and tell us more about Bitcoin in Kenya.
Thank you very much for having me on your podcast. I'm really, really privileged to be here and finally have this chat with you guys. So for me, as MasterGuantai, what I primarily do is Bitcoin education in Kenya. I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, so that is Bitcoin only education. And I do this under Bitcoin Mtaani, of which I am the founder. And Bitcoin Mtaani is dedicated to Bitcoin only education in native African languages. When I say this, what I mean is different languages which are native to Africa. Like let's say in my case, in Nairobi, Kenya, basically in Kenya, we also speak, other than English, we speak Swahili, and then your native language, like my mother tongue, like from the tribe which I was born. So in my case, it is Meru. So what inspired me to do this is when I got into the, started going down my journey down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, I just came to the realization that two things. First and foremost, the kind of examples given on different Bitcoin podcasts or other educational materials, be it blogs or books, do not really relate to the African context, because when you're trying, I believe Bitcoin is for the 100%. So even the ordinary just guy in the street maybe didn't have the privilege to have a good education, who cannot understand what you're talking about when you mention the SEC or different things like that, deserves to have a well-rounded explanation of what is being given forth as the Bitcoin education. So I have had the privilege of working with different guys from Africa to translate some materials such as the Bitcoin white paper to Yoruba language, to Lingala, to Swahili. So far, so good. And as at right now, I shifted focus as of a few months ago to actually now, after research I did, to do educational video content. So to add a number to your number section, my number will be 52 because I'm on day 52 of the MasterGuantai Bitcoin series, which I post like daily on Twitter, Instagram, but most primarily on TikTok, because the focus there is engaging new people, especially the youth, the demographic between 16 to 25 years old, to the Bitcoin standard, because most of these noobs really take Twitter, now X, to be a very serious kind of environment. So they want short form videos which are very engaging so that they can be captivated to understand different concepts about what Bitcoin entails. And I'm doing this through the book, The Bitcoin Diploma. So I'm going step by step, page by page. So like yesterday, I was talking about time preference. So other than Bitcoin Mtani, right now I'm working on the Bitcoin Matatu Tours project. Matatu basically is a public service vehicle. So just imagine like your local like bus, let's say. But now I'll put it in a more fun way. Picture a Scooby-Doo van, a Bitcoin Scooby-Doo van in Kenya. So a lot of our public service vehicles are very like pimped out with like good music, good graffiti. So it will be like very, very cool all around. And the intent for this is to actually make it possible for primarily Bitcoiners in Europe and in the States to come and experience Bitcoin projects here in Kenya in two ways. Number one, having a reliable person in the space that can clearly guide you from the hotel bookings to, if you have visa issues, to where you should stay, to visiting great projects like Gridless, and gridless compute. We have the Build with Bitcoin school here in Kenya. So a lot of great projects which are happening. And then the second step is to actually make sure that now when you're doing your tours here, specifically in Kenya, because I aim to start here in Kenya, is you can make your payments when you travel in Bitcoin. So making sure that a lot of vendors are in a place to understand what is Bitcoin and to offer their services and products for Bitcoin. So that is basically the two projects which I'm actively involved in. As per my rhymes and everything, it has been a hot minute, and I've never really put them out there. So yeah, with Walton as a mentor, I know I'll scratch the dust off the book and yeah, trying to do some.
I don't know about mentor. Like I'm new to this as well. I started writing the rhymes for the first time about a year ago. Like we had like maybe like 4, 8, 12 lines. By Christmas last year, it was like 25, 30. I think I did my first 64 in February, maybe.
It was pretty early. It was pretty early.
And then like since then, it's been a lot. Like it has been like, you know, quite good numbers. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I try and write every day. Sometimes it just comes to me like when I'm walking my dog, I'm at the gym, I'm driving. I don't know. I have to try and write something down quickly, and it's not just obviously. I'm not just looking for like a word that rhymes. I'm looking for. I call them conceptual rhymes. I don't know what the term is really, but it's like where you have two overlapping
concept ideas
where you have that are named the same, right? So what are they called? Homonyms. They sound the same, but they're different meanings. Yeah. So like you got and then I don't know. There's a bunch of kind of techniques that you kind of build yourself as you go. But it's fun. I don't know. Helps you think.
No,
Helps you
like
kind of process what's going on in your week, and yeah.
the coolest thing about this is I've actually never told anyone about this, but when I started, like just before Bitcoin time became a reality, I actually had like 2 years in my life where I was very, very focused on work only, like no partying, no really social engagements, that kind of thing. So those were the days on an Easter weekend I could do the Michael Saylor series in 3 days, like the whole of it, to actually understand what is Bitcoin. So for me, like having that outlet to just write like everything you're thinking about, understanding what is Bitcoin, the problems happening which you can see, and the new things you can learn. Yeah, it was a fun part of my life, if I may say so.
Guantai, my question for you, actually a couple of questions, is this. I guess firstly, how is Bitcoin being used in Kenya? Is it mostly custodial wallets? I guess that's one question, and the other question is that maybe I'm right or I'm wrong. Could just be ignorance, but I always imagine, because of the way that news is framed, I always imagine that nobody really has computers over there, and like nobody really has or I should say, like maybe not like the most up-to-date hardware and the fastest internet, and so to speak. So my question is that, like, are there a lot of people like running Bitcoin nodes and the software out there, like Bitcoin Core on a laptop, or is it really just all cell phones? Like what's the overall picture out there, the overall landscape, if you could describe that for people?
Yeah, so how Bitcoin is being used in Kenya and like most of Africa primarily right now is the education is pushing Bitcoin to be used as first and foremost a store of value. And why the store of value proposition is the one which has the greatest weighting in the African space when it comes to Bitcoin is simply because of the currencies we use in Africa, like let's say in West Africa with the CAF, like with all the coups happening and everything, that being like truly the worst of the worst. And then like now countries like Zimbabwe, and then like having more relatively stable currencies, like let's say the Kenya shilling or the South African rand. So what happens is a lot of people are encouraged to actually use Bitcoin as their store of value, as opposed to saving on mobile money platforms or using a bank. And why this is very, very important is because Kenya specifically, is mobile first. And in Africa, like obviously you have heard, no, I'll not assume, have you ever heard of M-Pesa? Like the way you can send and receive money through mobile, M-Pesa.
M-Pesa?
Yeah,
I don't
M-Pesa is basically,
I don't think I've ever used that.
You can send.
No,
you can
dude,
send
Ray
and
talked
receive
about this a
money.
bunch on the special that we did with him. Yeah, this is essentially, there's like different. What is it? It's like you essentially kind of store the value on your phone, and some of these systems are kind of closed to one or maybe a small group of countries, and so you can't like move money necessarily across different African countries. Ray was talking about these kind of trapped pools of liquidity.
Yeah. Okay, MasterGuantai, continue. Now I understand. Thank you, Walton.
Yeah. So basically, when I say M-Pesa is king, like what I mean is M-Pesa, first and foremost, it is owned by a company called Safaricom. Safaricom, when it comes to a mobile being a telco in Kenya specifically, they own upwards of 90% market share. So when I talk about mobile money in Kenya, what I mean is people, like everyone, literally everyone, and every hotel, every establishment you can go to, if you want to commute, if I want to pay a flight ticket, everything, I can do it through mobile money. So a lot of Kenyans are actually like the point whereby the whole country should be, let's say, banked, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people prefer to use M-Pesa, mobile money, than put their money in the bank, because it is more convenient for them. It has no headaches. You can use them. You can use M-Pesa on a feature phone, like the older phones, the cheaper older phones, not a smartphone. So it just works. So why M-Pesa, why mobile first is the way to go in Kenya, and why the store value proposition is important is a lot of, like, everyone has a phone. So we talk about, like, even how you buy your Bitcoin, like, let's say here in Kenya, it is more convenient to onboard someone to Bitcoin custodial wallet such as BitNob, because when they immediately download the BitNob app, now they can buy Bitcoin using their mobile money, which is already on their mobile phone. Now, other than that, now, obviously the medium of exchange propositions come secondary, because a lot of people like genuinely prefer not to spend their sats, let me put it that way. But that's kind of an international thing. But now you have different companies, different Bitcoin projects, let me put it that way, accepting Bitcoin for their products and services. So for instance, like with the Bitcoin Tani, you can buy like this t-shirt or any other merchandise which I have to offer on the website and pay in Bitcoin. And then to come to your question about the level of technology in Africa, I know what you said. There's a lot of like disinformation, like Africa is back in the Stone Age and things like that. But the fact of the matter is, like right now we are doing this interview on 5G. Like having an iPhone, yes, it's a $1,000 phone, but having an iPhone in Kenya is not a big deal. Like having any computer hardware, like having the latest Samsung 96-inch TV, or having a PlayStation 5 and playing online games, having a MacBook at a coffee shop doing your meetings, or having like a call like this in Nairobi, Kenya, that is not a big deal. So for this, I'll be very, very specific. When it comes to Kenya, the infrastructure, what I mean, even from the roads to our electrical grid, to the connectivity when it comes to fiber and wireless internet access, that is top of the top right now, like 100%. So like West Africa, yes, like even me in Kenya, if I have a call with let's say a colleague or someone like my friend in West Africa, the network is not as great. But here in Kenya, 9 out of 10 times, you can always call me on my phone. My data is always on, like on my iPhone. You can call me on Telegram, and even if I'm working, I'll just pick your call like a normal call. Like there is no issue. I can do a Zoom call whatever time. Our electricity has been 100% reliable, though for the last like 2 days we have had some 2-3 days there was one day with a lot of interruption, but the government is dealing with that. But when I say our electrical grid is stable, what I mean is let's say any month since January till now we are recording this interview, if I took it to be 100%, the only time which I have experienced being without power is less than 2% from January to date, which is September 1st. So that is fucking amazing for an African country.
So, man, I really appreciate you sharing that, because again, it's, like the Western cultures is just very ethnocentric, and, they just, they just brainwash you into you're the best and everyone else sucks. But I also wanted to bring it back. So are you getting an increasing interest in running nodes? Let's say like the MyNode or the Raspberry Blitz or something like that? Or because you said before that it's primarily mobile first where you are, right? But I'm just assuming that, because of what you explained about the technology and that not being a hurdle, are you getting increased demand for that type of, I guess,
Yeah,
for that type of
to be
material?
to be very, very honest, the education has not caught up there. Like the number of people who are even interested in learning a node, yeah, the numbers are not good. I can't lie there. Because like at this point in time, we are at the baby steps of doing the education for the people to know what Bitcoin is, for them to actually even consider like buying $20 worth of Bitcoin to maybe see the volatility, the price action, ask you some questions so that they can even contemplate about like doing like dollar cost averaging, so that now they can reach a point where they can be like, I need a hardware wallet because I need to buy some more of, I've stacked like some sats which I think are significant to me and the job that I do, depending on my income. So that now we can introduce them like to the seed signers, the MK3s, MK4s by CoinKite, like the other wallets, like the Jade, like the Jade wallets, all of which like I'm even like a reseller for CoinKite products like here in Kenya. So it is not the lack of availability of even like the hardware of the software for people to set up their and run their nodes, or a lack of being in lack of having like an MK4 or whatever other hardware you need. It is just that we are at the very initial stages of just showing people the value proposition of Bitcoin for them now to go forward and like embrace this, like the whole 9 yards. Yes.
Really eye-opening. I genuinely, MasterGuantai, I really appreciate you explaining this. This is all fantastic. That wraps up the Fireside Chat, and we are going to move it on over to REKT. REKT is brought to you by CryptoCloaks. Check them out, cryptocloaks.com. Awesome 3D prints made by fellow Bitcoiners, like the 3D printed grenade that you can store your open dime in. If you get the larger one, you can store a full signing device like an MK4 or a Trezor or a Jade. Anyways, check them out at CryptoCloaks.com. Don't forget to use the code PlebUnderground for 5% off, and our affiliate link is in the show notes. Before we get into the main part of REKT, I just wanted to tell everyone, in case you didn't know, the SEC delayed Fidelity and VanEck's spot Bitcoin ETF, and not just that, there was actually more news that came out that indicated that the next time they're going to be looking at it is in late October. So that's gone. All right. So Bitcoin ETF back on the back burner. Not that it ever left, and it is still absolutely wrecked. But this is not our main story. Our main story is Drivechains. Okay. Now, I got to be honest with you. There's a whole lot of REKT going around all over the place. Okay. And we've got a lot of links to get through. So, and again, guys, I do implore all of you who actually want to understand Drivechains. All of these links are going to be in the show notes so that you can go through this all. I've been going through this for the last 3 or 4 days, and let's do it. So here we go. This is the drivechain.info website from Paul Stork, who is the author of Drivechains, and let's get into it here. First, we're going to give a little explanation, just some background, so that people can be a little bit familiar with it. We're not doing a long, drawn-in. This particular segment is not about the technology that is Drivechain. It has to do much more with the narratives that are playing out, okay? So here we go. Drivechains. Drivechain allows Bitcoin to create, delete, send BTC to, and receive BTC from, quote unquote, layer 2 called sidechains. Sidechains are altcoins that lack a native coin. Keep that piece in mind, guys. Instead, pre-existing coins from a different blockchain must first be sent over. Okay, so like a peg in. kind of like Liquid is right now. Once on a side chain, coins can change hands an unlimited number of times and in an unlimited number of new ways. Thus, BTC owners can opt in to new features or trade-offs. That's right. You can opt into a trade-off.
So it's like a swingers party on your Bitcoin.
Let's be nice, Walton. Let's be nice, okay? It's where we're just, we don't like technology as Bitcoiners, okay, apparently. Meanwhile, the Bitcoiners who don't opt in never need to care what any side chain is doing. Putting the tech aside, let's take a look at, kind of who's behind this and what narratives are playing out. We're just gonna take a look at some of the marketing stuff that came out. And before we do, this is a tweet from Hodl Not Here where he just goes probably nothing. And this is a screenshot of a tweet from Roger Ver, who started Bcash, okay, with Jihan Wu. Here we go. Drivechain, the simple two-way peg, a simple sidechain implementation is here. Okay, and that was back in 2015. So we already know that you've got Bcashers that support it. And of course, right, like, we know that that's an argument. Oh, just because somebody back then supported it, it means it's bad. Oh, okay, fair enough. Maybe that's not entirely terrible, but let's keep going here with the framing. To me, these are red flags. So this is from Paul Stork himself. The risk Bitcoin faces by not adding BIP 300 is at least 10 million x greater than the risk Bitcoin faces by adding it. No substantiation there. I mean, how can you even begin to prove those numbers? This to me is just gaslighting. Here's another one. Not only am I doing you a favor by giving you BIP 300, I'm also doing you a second favor by pioneering modern soft fork activation. I'm just that good. I give you the medicine you really need, even if you don't realize you need it. Here's another one. It has enormous upside and literally zero downside, other than embarrassing the people who were wrongly against it, such as yourself. Okay, so right there, you're supposed to feel shamed and guilty. Okay, so we're stupid, we're shamed, we're guilty. All right, let's continue. David Bailey chimed in, who Walton mentioned all the way at the beginning of the show. We were both in a spaces last night with him, just having some terrible takes, and just kind of pussyfooting around, actually talking about Drivechains, just kind of peppering out other parts of the conversation and just wandering off the path. Anyways, miners are talking about Drivechains. Interest is strong and growing. They're staying out of the drama, but they understand the math. All right, so this is supposed to make you think big things are coming. Halving is right around the corner, and sustained transaction fee revenue would dramatically benefit their bottom line. Oh, so here we go. We're going to try to fool people with the incentives. Now, it's interesting. Pierre Rochard works for Riot Blockchain, right? One of the publicly traded Bitcoin miners. And he responded back with, no, this is fabricated Hopium. And I might also mind you, Walton and I know other people that work with Bitcoin miners, people who install the taps for the flared gas. They're not talking about Drivechains. Nobody's talking about this shit. Okay? It's just a bunch of people making noise on Twitter, and Drivechains are old. You saw that tweet from Roger Verts, 2015. All right. Let's continue. Let's continue, because we got more bad takes, people. This is, again, all part of the narrative that's shaping up. Sounds very familiar to something we all went through. Now we've got Bruce Fenton, right? And for the people who don't know, Bruce Fenton created a shitcoin called Ravencoin. And the amazing idea behind that one was, you're going to create assets on the blockchain, and for every asset that gets created, he's going to burn some tokens. And it's democratic, and it's good, and it's, because he loves freedom by his shitcoin. Okay, so here we go. Little bit more shaming. Your options: support BIP 300, support RGB, Rootstock, Liquid Taro, and other ways to tokenize on Bitcoin. Support ETH, ADA, or other chains. Or number 4, support none. Be a whiny anti-innovation baby living in 1999 who thinks tokens, even stablecoins and securities, aren't a use case. They aren't a use case. It's bullshit. It is absolute bullshit to reinvent the wheel. Okay? And just because we are against, or just because a person is against the use of Drivechains, okay, doesn't mean that we're being hypocrites and support Rootstock or Liquid or Taro. It's all shitcoining. I don't care what you call it. It doesn't make a difference. Okay, just because there's like a different level of shitcoin going on there That doesn't make it better. But anyways, we're going to continue with the framing and the narrative because we got a lot. So here we go. We've got out of Ordinal Labs, right? Ordinal Labs, who was originally, if I'm not mistaken, BSVers or Bcashers or who cares? Anyways, Drivechain opens the doors to endless possibilities. That's right. Part of those endless possibilities are bad shit you can't stop. Okay? While keeping Bitcoin's essence intact. That's right, guys. For the people, for the people watching the show, maybe they want to chime in. They want to let me know how we quantify Bitcoin's essence. This is just stupid puffery. Anyways, from better scalability to new functionalities, Drivechain is a stepping stone for Bitcoin's evolutionary path. So now let's take a look at some other pieces of this that shows kind of, again, some of the people that are behind this. Okay, so this is a tweet from Pierre Rochard. All right, and we're just taking a look at Layer 2 Labs here. And here we go. This is the flexible working hours. SideShift AI is focused on output. Now, for people who don't know, SideShift AI is an investor in what's it called? In Drivechains. Okay, and is a part of this whole thing. And here we go. There's Andreas Brecken, right? Andreas Brecken, who is clearly a friend to maybe he's not a friend to Bitcoin. Oh, look at that. He was letting everybody know about all the Bitcoin companies that were supporting the New York agreement. Oh, look at that. Icing on the cake. Here we go. Bitcoin Cash is Bitcoin. And here he is cheering and helping Drivechains. So again, maybe that doesn't mean anything, Walton. Maybe we're just, tinfoil hat. But I think that this is another play. The enemies of Bitcoin are here and trying again. So let's take a look at some of the rebuttals that we're getting from the supporters of Drivechains. This is a tweet out of from David Soroy. No idea who that is, but I thought that this was a pretty interesting thread. The narrative that Drivechains are only useful for shitcoins is wrong. Now, you see, that's not the narrative. Okay, the narrative is that Drivechains will stop or prevent shitcoining. But we're going to continue. Here's a non-exhaustive list of very useful applications enabled by Drivechains with references which require no additional shitcoin, altcoin, seigniorage whatsoever. Listen to that language, okay? Decentralized hash rate derivatives, a way for users to earn yield on BTC. So you know what that means, right? You're most likely entering into a multi-sig. That's the best case scenario, right? And you're quote unquote getting paid out by providing your Bitcoin as a stake. That just sounds like shitcoining to me. Anyways, trustless oracles. I know Walton's going to appreciate that one. They didn't solve the fucking oracle problem. Okay, so this is nonsense. Who's going to build the oracle?
Literally, Drivechains is another example of shitcoiners not understanding the oracle problem.
Thank you. Okay, who runs the oracle? Who owns the oracle? How do you know that data is good? Anyways. Okay, Bitcoin-backed loans. We already have those. You can just go to Unchained Cap. You don't need some other side chain shitcoin to do this. Bitcoin-backed stable coins. What? That require no additional shitcoin, altcoin, seigniorage whatsoever. This is in his own thread. It's in the thread. Okay, Thunderchain. This is good. A chain dedicated specifically to optimize Lightning Network. So why don't you just optimize the Lightning Network? Why don't you just continue to work on the Lightning Network instead? Let's just build this other thing. Anyways, and here we go. As a byproduct of these applications, guys, and here we go. This is the hook. Okay, we likely increase miner revenue and Bitcoin NGU. Right? That's the key, because in the back of our heads there is this impending doom of the miner death spiral, which has never happened. Okay, and we can prevent it if we create enough economic activity on Bitcoin. More of the shitcoin takes. Shitcoins can already be created on Bitcoin today. Counterparty tap, open assets. Drivechains are no worse than Bitcoin in that regard. As far as I can tell, there is no evidence that creating new shitcoins is the primary motivation of the BIP author. Seems the opposite to me. Keep that in mind, guys. Okay, not the primary goal. Okay, maybe it's not. We go to check the drivechain.info website, which I encourage everybody to go and check, right? we can see a list of the projects that we could be looking at with Drivechains. Okay, I'm not going to go through every single one of them, of course. So here we go. ETHside, a clone of Ethereum. Ethereum is the number 2 coin by market cap and the number 1 coin by usage in terms of fees paid. Thus, ETH is Bitcoin's greatest rival in the crypto world. It's not, because we're talking about 2 completely different quality sets. ETH does not have a hard cap. Okay, that just that alone. Just that alone. And ETH is proof of stake. The ETH and Bitcoin have nothing to do with each other in any way, shape, or form. And to me, again, this literally, we're talking about shitcoining on Bitcoin, but let's continue. Bit assets. This one's interesting. Counterparty-like, but without touching L1 block space. Sia coin, or Shia coin, however you want to pronounce it. For the people who don't know what Sia coin is, okay, this is a stupid shitcoin that is based on file sharing. Okay, so instead of paying somebody in their local currency or Bitcoin, you pretend that you need some shitcoin in order to access your backed up files. And, you know, like you can see here, it pairs up, you know, people who want to back up their files with people who have hard drive space. Definitely needs its own token. All right, Mimblewimble, for the people who don't know what that is, that's Grin. That was shilled by Jameson Lopp, amongst other people. Trace Mayer as well, right? A person who was well liked in the Bitcoin space and turned around and all of a sudden started shilling Mimblewimble Grin, right? The magic security token. And I thought this one was funny. Original Ripple. Because I really want that. Original Ripple allows users to extend credit to their friends, and for that credit to be then extended to friends of friends in a big trust network. Wow, this is just huge innovation. We should definitely be modifying the code on L1 for this stuff. Now, let's go take a look at to me, this was really what was important, because again, right, we keep being told that this is not about shitcoins. This is not about creating new assets, right? But number 5 over here was bit assets. What is bit assets? This is, again, okay, this is from truthcoin.info, right? This is Paul's website. Bit assets, a digital assets sidechain, bringing ERC20 tokens and other crypto finance to Bitcoin on its own specialized chain. And of course, what are the motivations? We know that there's a market for digital collectibles. We know that we can fleece you for crap that doesn't need to exist. Digital art, right? NFTs, blockchain, digital art is now in some sense possible. Oh no, it's always been possible. JPEGs are JPEGs. And people are interested. Again, another opportunity to fleece the noobs. So again, right, we keep being told that we don't need to issue new assets, but here we are again, asset-backed tokens. So again, making new tokens. Let's take a look at the special features, right, of some of these of the drive chains, right? To be able to create crypto collectibles, create crypto token, send the crypto asset. So I mean, it definitely sounds like one of the main use cases is shitcoining. This feature set allows us to replicate the 3-step ERC20 formula, creating some token, crowd sale it off, and get it listed somewhere. Okay, that totally sounds like shitcoin. Oh, and look at this. Creating a new asset. Huh. But I thought that all these use cases didn't need to create new assets. They're right. You don't need to create new assets on drive chains, but you can. And guess what? Those assets, they're not actually Satoshis anymore, because Satoshi is a unit of BTC, which these are not. Okay, and guys, you can go and look through all of this yourselves. Personally, again, I mean, look, I know that there's a lot of stuff that can be done. There's a lot of stuff that can also break. As of right now, I think that this is just another grift. And I guess I'm going to go to MasterGuantai before I go to Walton to wrap it up. So MasterGuantai, what are your thoughts on drive chains and what's been presented? And again, right, if you don't, you know what I mean? Like if you don't feel comfortable because you haven't dug into it enough, I completely understand that. I wasn't willing to talk about it for at least the last 2 weeks until I had done enough research myself.
No, I'm totally game to answer. For me, ever since like ordinals and all that noise, and now like Drivechains, to me it's just a waste of time and a sideshow. So, like, I'm very very happy that the like in the Bitcoin space, like specifically here in, let's say, Africa, the conversation is not so big on Drivechains or ordinals, that kind of thing. The attack just comes from the attack vector for let's say us is just from the new the whatever shitcoin. Like now you have cassava coin claiming that guys can do work for 3 months and then the coin will be minted and then they'll get their money. Just same old shit, just a different day, like BIG said it. So for me, I don't really care to like dive deep into it, but obviously from all those links that you have furnished us, you can clearly see and smell, the shit in it. So that's my two sats on it.
Walton, what are your thoughts on the Drivechains, man?
Fuck shitcoins.com. Please like and subscribe.
Exactly. See, we don't need that much to summarize it. Guys, let us know what you think. Tell us in the comments. You know what I mean? We are not.
It's all about incentives, right? And there's misaligned incentives. It's potentially introducing misaligned incentives. And if you look at the incentives of the people pushing this stuff, again, misaligned. Like, there's just why is the urgency? Oh, because there's been some VC money and they're trying to get the return. Like, if your bullshit sense is tingling, it should be.
That wraps up REKT, and we are going to move it on over to the Hopium.
Up next, we have Hopium, sponsored by Represent. Represent are a Bitcoin-owned clothing brand based on the West Coast of the United States, making a whole range of excellent apparel and accessories. Nice, simple designs, nice soft fabrics, special editions that you can't even buy. All of these things, well, and more, except for this one, right? Over at representltd.com, and if you use the code PlebUnderground, you can get a discount on all of the goodies. Once again, that's representltd.com. So for me, there are 3 stories this week on Hopium. The first, I mean, I hit a few PBs in the gym recently. I'm quite happy about that. But I don't know. I just feel like there's a kind of bullish. I don't know. I get these like mini. You hear these mini bullish stories from loads of plebs right now. I feel like the plebs have been building, and there's just all this kind of bubbling. What's the word? Sustainable building, sustainable energy that's coming, and I'm very excited about that. 2, shitcoiners keep getting wrecked, and so money flows away from them. That's good. And the final one, and I'm getting a bit fed up with this one, to be quite honest, but I'm gonna share it with you now. This concept, right? Here's a tweet from Stack Hodler from a couple of days ago. And so there was a little pump, right? And then, of course, there was actually a retracement we've had since then. But Stackholder said, no, yesterday was the test pump. Brace yourselves for the Bitcoin ETF God candle. 1,000K is programmed. So he's saying $1 million upon the ETF being approved, even though it only shows it going up to, like, what's that?
27K.
Yeah, 27K. Sorry, that is the mini pump. Sorry, I was thinking this is the mini pump here, and then that's the big one. But no, this is actually the 27K. Right. So, fuck ETFs. Quite frankly, like they're an attack on Bitcoin. Any custody type solution is an attack on Bitcoin, or at least on your Bitcoin. It's just bad news. Like the reason gold failed was because of, centralized custodians. You can't let the same thing happen. Is there going to be a pump when ETFs? I don't give a fuck. I don't know. No idea. Will one ever be approved in the United States? I don't know. Do they keep approving futures ETFs? Yes. Like what are the point of TradFi? What's the word? TradFi products and services may have some uses for some people, but they are ultimately products and services being sold by companies to try and make profit. There's no different with an ETF. Like, you're going to pay some sort of fees, some sort of cut, and so why do you want to pay any fees at all if they're holding your Bitcoin? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you not just hold your own Bitcoin? Oh, because you're a boomer? Well, then, like, learn. Like, or, yeah. Do you not trust your children more than some other, like, boom? I don't know. Like, come on. Like, I went to a Bitcoin meetup in London this week, and I of course, in true pleb nature, I heckled the speaker across a room of 20 people who the rest was, you know, silent basically. But the guy was just shilling some fucking bullshit. He was shilling some product where like it's way that means that you can cryptographically prove the exchange have the reserves for the amount that they should for you, and you only need a certain amount of time, blah blah. And then he talks about later, oh, there's some tolerance built in. Well, then how can it be exact? And there was just so many like inactive, and it's like the incentives don't work. He's going around approaching exchanges trying to get them to adopt it, and unsurprisingly, they're not interested. Like, there's already a way that you can prove that exchanges have the Bitcoin that they're meant to, and that's called withdrawing it and actually having your own Bitcoin and not having an IOU, a number on a screen on an exchange. So guys, please take self-custody, because that is what will actually cause Moon. If you leave all the corn with custodians, Moon will never happen.
Personal responsibility is the killer app.
So, Bitcoin in self-custody is what it's meant to be. Like, what's the excuse? Is it about that you don't understand enough? You don't have enough confidence in the security? You're concerned about redundancy? Like, there's a multitude of options that enable you to kind of find the right trade-offs for your preferences, but not doing it at all is fucking retarded, quite frankly. Like, I'd rather people had their coins on a hot wallet on a mobile phone, a Bitcoin only hot wallet on a mobile phone, than on an exchange. Because as far as I'm aware, Bitcoin only wallets don't seem to get hacked all that much, right, Phil?
They sure don't. They sure don't, because they don't offer that vector, right? They don't open up that attack surface that the shitcoins do. But I did want to make a comment about the screenshot. I was mistaken, and it's 270,000. So what he was showing was essentially that candle.
He was showing that projection. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
It's just everything's fractals, right? Everything's fractals, and so fine.
But again, to your point, right? Like, it's, you know, guys. The whole point is this, right?
No, he wasn't actually. He wasn't showing it. I just looked back again. It was 27.7 that he was showing. 0.0. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But the point is, there's Hopium dealers all over, and if you talk a lot of Hopium, then you'll get some sponsorships from some exchanges and that sort of thing, or you know, you'll be able to sell a newsletter or whatever it is. Fuck Hopium dealers, quite frankly. Like, you're irresponsible, and you're, quite frankly, you're the same as Plan B. So all of you people taking those exchange paychecks, pumping Hopium, you're just the same as Plan B. In fact, no, you're worse, because you can't just do it on your own. You have to, like, you know, just repeat someone else's bull. Like, come on, people should know better.
MasterGuantai, what are your thoughts on the Bitcoin ETF? I mean, I know you're out in Kenya, so, you know, like, what do you guys? I mean, is that even really a talking point out there?
No, not really, because at the end of the day, you're just trying to create a basket of something which does not need a basket. Put it like simply and clearly. Like, if you have Bitcoin, you have your own freedom. That's it. You do not need anything else to rot the other proverbial apples, if I may put it that way. So when it comes to the ETF, or even on Walton's last point in regards to guys in the Bitcoin space, like earning money from exchanges and even other shitcoin projects, and pretending that they are pushing Bitcoin. Even here in Africa, I can tell you for free, even here in Kenya, like, there are guys who, especially after FTX failed, you may not know this, but when at the height of FTX, there was a lot of shitcoin money coming into the Kenya shitcoin like space. Different projects coming
Really?
each and every day. So what that drives a lot of young guys in the crypto space in Kenya to be on the Ethereum safari this week, Polkadot safari next week, on the Cassava network the week after that. So you can clearly see this person, like the sheer lack of consistency. And then you had insult to injury. For me, I always believe consistency trumps talent. So for me, each and every day, I just live one day at a time. You put in the proof of work on a day-by-day basis and go improving on that. So in the Kenyan and African space, when the proverbial tap dried in regards to shitcoin companies not actually pushing a lot of money into the African space, you have now some shitcoiners claiming to be born again plebs. But now in the Bitcoin space, like let me give a very good example, like with the Geyser Fund, right? If you want to be like, okay, like even Bitcoin Tani and Bitcoin Matatu Tours are both on the Geyser Fund. And for me, like, I'm looking forward to the grant which will be announced like next week, which will enable to buy the Bitcoin Matatu. But what makes me like even get this recognition and to have someone from, like, I was really amazed, like a guy donated sats from South Korea, of all places. So like what really gives plebs, like the whole world, confidence in MasterGuantai is if you just go to my Twitter handle, you can scroll down to 3 years ago. I'm not doing anything metaverse, crypto, anything ordinals, anything what. So like the credibility is there for you to be taken seriously in the space. But now you have people who want to hop around, and then when the Monero money dies or the Solana money dies, do a quick Geyser Fund project, and then they're like, oh guys, I'm here. And then 2 weeks in, they're not getting fucking shit donations from anyone. So they decide, let me do this Cassava network safari, but let me not post it. But everyone knows everyone in the space. So there are a lot of like very disingenuous guys in the space, if I may put it that way, who do not have the level of commitment to be Bitcoin only and give flimsy excuses like, I have to do Ethereum safari to make ends meet. Fuck no, you don't need to do that. Like if you're in Bitcoin, just be in Bitcoin and be like serious about it. That's like my position on that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Sorry, as you were explaining that, it just got me a great idea for a title for our episode. And I'm like, is Bitcoin taking Africa by storm? That could be a good, anyways, title for the for our episode. But man, it's, you know, I got to tell you again that this is really eye-opening stuff, because I mean, I do somewhat assume that there's going to be the shitcoin grifters, but I didn't realize what you just explained, like the very quick kind of like turn coding, right? Like at one point it's like, hey, I'm a Bitcoiner, and then all of a sudden, well, I'm shilling you this shitcoin network so that I can make ends meet, you know, until I can go back to being Bitcoin only again.
Like you don't even understand. You don't understand the levels. Like you can have, it's like a tornado in your head looking at some of these guys like Twitter handle for like just the month of August, because they have done promotion for 4 different shitcoin companies, and then they have a Bitcoin project. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Like make it make sense.
It's just, you know, look, it's absolutely brutal. And it's something that we see here too, right? Like you do have, well, to a certain extent. So you have some shitcoin companies that invest a very, very small, like shitcoin VCs like A16Z, right? Like they have, if I'm not mistaken, they have 1 or 2 Bitcoin only investments, right? But everything else is the shitcoin ecosystem, you know? So it's, to me, I consider that It's almost like gas. It's almost like
Like-
gaslighting. It's, you know, essentially they're doing it just so that you'll leave them alone. You know, it's, hey, look, we invest in something that's Bitcoin
Yeah,
only.
it's-
Leave us alone. It's like you're orange washing your shitcoin operation is what you're doing.
It's an emotional plea to an ethical question.
Yep. Very well said.
One thing I can just add on that is like it is very difficult to like get funding for Bitcoin projects, especially if I may speak like from even not an African but a Kenyan perspective. Regardless of like very, very high quality and consistent proof of work, it is difficult to get funding for a Bitcoin project. So like like the shitcoiners will do whatever they want to do, but you can trust and believe that MasterGuantai is always going to be Bitcoin only. And yeah, for your segment, if you want more if you want more context in regards to Bitcoin adoption in Africa, I'm happy to oblige.
Awesome. And we will definitely we will definitely have you back. And guys, in case you haven't
Maybe we'll have
figured
to
it,
do some sort of special and
yeah,
put a team together.
I think we would. And guys, in
Yeah.
case you haven't figured it out, it is the end of our weekly episode. And I think Walton has a special announcement he wants to make here before I do my my final wrap up.
Yeah, special announcement. So this episode will come out on Monday the 4th of September. Monday the 5th of September, I will be flying out to Atlanta for TabConf, the Atlanta Bitcoin conference, the most pleb technical conference there is. And yeah, okay, there's, you know, they have surge pricing, right? The tickets end up, I think they're currently like $300, but I think they start at something like, you know, $20 or $50. Or, you know, they really start off very low because it's meant to be an educational event for plebs. But they invited me to the MC this year, and so we're gonna go cause some trouble.
Very nice.
Yeah, have some fun.
Very nice. Represent PlebUnderground over there.
And there's gonna be a new PlebUnderground special, recording its first episode from the conference. So watch this space.
Nice. Big teaser. And guys, that wraps up the episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. In the show notes, we are going to have all of the contact details for MasterGuantai. What else, Walton? What do we have left? What's left?
Fuckshitcoins.com. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you next week.
That's right. Fuck shitcoins. And don't forget to check us out on our audio-only platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. And if you want to stream us sats, check us out on fountain.fm. You can stream us sats through Breeze. Peace out, guys.
More toxic than the most toxic Bitcoin maxi ever. They said he's more toxic.